The success of The Mandalorian can be seen through its wide cultural popularity and love in the Star Wars fandom and within die-hard fans as well. The mix between cultural success and fan loyalty is the reason why it's one of the biggest and best shows out there right now. Even though in the past the Star Wars franchise under Disney has been linked with a lot of negativity and potentially failure, The Mandalorian has been able to turn a lot of it around. In today's video, we are going to be looking at what the Amazon Lord of the Rings TV series can learn from The Mandalorian. The reason I am comparing the two shows is because Star Wars and Middle-earth / Lord of the Rings are big IP names and big brands, and I believe in many ways The Mandalorian and The Lord of the Rings will be similar in that it's a show based off a huge franchise, but it will also make a name for itself as well. So, the first thing Lord of the Rings on Prime can learn from The Mandalorian is to have people working on the show in important places that know the work and source material. The inclusion and work of Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have been vital in the success of The Mandalorian, as the showrunners and producers firstly love Star Wars and the content and importantly understand it as well. Currently for the Lord of the Rings show, all we know is that in these showrunner positions we have J.D. Payne and Patrick McKay. We do not know a lot about them, so firstly we cannot judge how well they know the lore of Tolkien's works, or if they are even passionate of it as the same level that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are about Star Wars. But in defense to them, they were both able to pitch a Lord of the Rings show to Amazon, who had just spent $250 million on the rights to Tolkien's works, so Amazon must feel really confident that these two are at the helm of their billion-dollar show, which shows they must know a bit or even a lot about Lord of the Rings and Tolkien's works. Of course, it is still in early works, and the only lore master that we know that has worked on the show so far is Thomas Shippey, who has now apparently departed, so it doesn't look like he is in a role where he influences the show long term. But to round up, the importance of having a successful show is having people in important positions who fully know their works and source material. Another thing that Amazon Lord of the Rings TV series can learn from The Mandalorian is pleasing the fans in a way that makes sense to the show and story as well. By this, I mean that what The Mandalorian did well was please the fans in lots of different ways. For example, spoilers, the inclusion of Ahsoka, subtle hints back to the Clone Wars or prequels, and so on. But the important thing was that the stuff like this was included as it made sense to the story and to the plot, while also pleasing the die-hard fans and fans of Star Wars. For example, spoilers here, so move on if you haven't seen The Mandalorian. Luke Skywalker returned using CGI back to his younger self, and of course this would please the fans, which is great, but there's a difference between pleasing the fans and fan service. What the show did correctly was fit Luke into the story so it wouldn't feel like he'd just been there in the show just to make people feel happy, and that is what the sequels often did incorrectly. Again, when he enters the ship and kills all the droids, this in comparison to the Darth Vader scene where he kills the rebels in Rogue One, and they were both killed in the same way. So these little details like this to the fans is why The Mandalorian is so greatly loved. It would be great if Amazon could find a way to please us diehard fans without making it seem like it was done just to make us happy, but also enhances and makes sense to the story and plot. One thing Amazon could do, for example, is potentially include Glorfindel. He is a fan favourite character within the fandom, and he was also of course taken out of the movie adaptations of The Lord of the Rings, and seeing him on screen would be great, but it would be also great to see him on screen if it made sense to the story and not just to please us viewers. One thing we know that Amazon might be learning from The Mandalorian is the usage of LED screens instead of green screens while filming. There have been reports coming out saying that the Lord of the Rings show will be using LED screens to shoot the Lord of the Rings TV series. This is beneficial as all backdrops are rendered at the time of filming, and when on set the actors can see the background around them. These LED screens move the 3D image in time with the movement of the camera. thus creating a seamless background that acts like just a real location. The LED rig can help reduce the cost of productions, as film crews won't have to build their own rigs, and can make post-production work easier and shortens post-production time as well. Of course, there are so many things the Lord of the Rings show can learn from The Mandalorian, and please leave your opinions in the comments below. But thank you guys for watching, I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe, but until the next video my friends, goodbye.